One more final look at this 1998-2010 National Education Policy. It further says, radio and television will play a crucial role and be extensively used for social mobilization and promoting the cause of basic education, particularly amongst rural females. Media will also be used to impart life skills to the neo-literates. So, the media at that time was radio and television. How was it going to be used to promote literacy among the population, particularly rural area females? Because we know our major issue is with the girls going to school, with the girls getting permission, being allowed to attend school and become literate. Sitting at home, listening to the radio, watching television, and getting some of the literate skills would be very good at that time. Today, of course, with all the multimedia and all the social media that we have, this is becoming more and more easier to accomplish. Again, what radio and television programs were to be aired, how long they were to be aired, how do you guarantee that the signals reach the rural areas? Because we know even today with our cell phone networks, rural areas have a difficulty having uninterrupted, clear signals. So at that time, for radio and television to go uninterrupted would be a luxury. How do you guarantee that that happens and that the young people are getting the literacy skills on a regular basis? If I can get 2 programs and I can't get the third, and I get the fourth, I have missed the third, what happens? Were there any chances of repetition of a program? Would it only be aired once? Would it only be shown once? All these kinds of guidelines, again, needed to be provided. Also, the media was responsible to give life skills to the neo-literates. Neo-literates, newly literate individuals. They needed life skills. Okay, you can read now, you can write now, you can perhaps do some simple calculations and quantitative skills. Now you need life skills. How is this going to help you survive? How is this going to help you lead a better life in the future? These life skills were important for the newly literate individuals, for them to see the benefit of becoming literate. The khanqahs, the mazars, shall donate a portion of their earnings to the literacy fund. The khanqahs and mazars, and we have lots of them, we have them in all the provinces, were supposed to donate a portion of their earning. But who is going to stipulate the portion? 1%, 2%, 10%? How much of their earnings? Who was going to check what they were earning? Because again, with no check and balance, I could say I only made 5,000 this week. How can I give you 4,000? All right? So all these checks and balances are important. To assume that people are of integrity, people are of moral understanding, and will do the right thing is wishful thinking again. And how do you convince the khanqahs and the mazar people to donate to the literacy fund? Why should they do it? How is it going to benefit them? Because, listen, when I am going to give my money for something, I need to know what is in it for me. Will somebody say that this mazar contributed so much to the literacy, or this mazar was responsible for 200,000 people becoming literate? What was in it for me? Again, without these kinds of guidelines, to simply require a third party to come in and contribute some amount of funds is not an easy thing to do. I would have a lot of questions to ask as to why do you want my money for literacy? Why should a mazar? My purpose is very different. Why should I contribute to your literacy fund? And so, again, that kind of convincing, that kind of groundwork was missing. Maybe some mazars did it, some khanqahs did it. How long they did it? Was it monthly? Was it annually? Was it by a term? How were they supposed to contribute? Those guidelines needed to be established well in time. The justification for a new policy given by the minister was that the previous education policy was not producing required results. So in 1998, when this 12-year policy was formulated, the minister at that time said, we need a new policy because the previous policy didn't meet its target. Actually, if you see every other previous policy, no education policy has met its targets completely. They may have met parts of it. In some policies, many parts. In some policies, less parts, fewer parts. But just because a previous policy did not meet its target or did not meet all the conditions it set out to meet is not a reason to bring in a new policy. Where is the guarantee? Now, this is 2016. This policy was supposed to be there up to 2010. This policy still exists. We don't have another policy after that. What does that mean? Does that mean that this policy did not meet its targets? How much of the targets did it meet? How successful was it? Why don't we have a revised policy after the 1998-2010 policy? We are at the end of 2016 practically now. And the minister also said the problem was with implementation. The policy did not meet all of its targets because of the issue of implementation. I have said it more than once. We look very good on paper. Our problem is implementation. That's the area where future governments will need to work on. Taking things from paper and transforming them into reality. When that happens, we will truly be on our way to universal education.